boys and girls, today we're going to do a science lesson. Now, for the past 3 weeks, we've been working on social studies, but now we're going to change and do science for a few weeks. All right, and what we're going to begin with is to study about living and non-living things. All right, here's some pictures of living things on this side of the screen, and over here we have some non-living things. We'll come back and look at this a little bit more as the lesson progresses. Okay, the standard for our lesson is the student will obtain, evaluate, and communicate information about the basic needs of plants and animals. You're going to be studying about what plants and animals need. You're going to ask questions to compare and contrast the basic needs of plants and animals. Our essential question is, how do I distinguish between living things and non-living things? And that means, how do I tell the difference between? How do I know which things are living and which things are non-living? Okay, living things grow. Living things change. Living things move on their own. Living things need food, water, and air. Living things can make other living things. All right, now we're going to stop here and we're going to watch a little quick video about living and non-living things. Okay?
Let's learn the difference between living and non-living things. How do we know if something is living? Living things can move, grow, breathe, reproduce, and require nutrients like food and water. Let's look at an example of a living thing. Does a bear move? Yes. Does a bear grow? Yes. Does a bear need nutrients like food and water? Yes. Does a bear breathe? Yes. Does a bear reproduce? Yes. So is a bear living or non-living? That's right. It's living. So how do we know if something is non-living? Non-living things can't move. Non-living things don't grow. Non-living things don't need nutrients. Non-living things don't breathe. Non-living things don't reproduce. Let's look at an example of a non-living thing. Does a microphone move? No. Does a microphone grow? No. Does a microphone need nutrients? No. Does a microphone breathe? No. Does a microphone reproduce? No. So is a microphone living or non-living? That's right. It's non-living. Let's try some more examples together. How about a flower? Does a flower move? Yes. Does a flower grow? Yes. Does a flower need nutrients? Yes. Does a flower breathe or need oxygen? Yes. Does a flower reproduce? Yes. So is a flower living or non-living? That's right. It's living. Does a table move? No. Does a table grow? No. Does a table need nutrients? No. Does a table breathe? No. Does a table reproduce? No. So is a table living or non-living? That's right. It's non-living. Let's try one more together. How about you? Can you move? Yes. Do you grow? Yes. Do you need nutrients like food and water? Yes. Do you breathe? Yes. As humans, are we able to reproduce? Yes. So are you living or non-living? That's right. You're living. Awesome job.
Okay, so we see that living things grow, change, move on their own. They need food, water, and air, and they can make other living things. Non-living things. What does non mean? It means not. Not living things. Things that are not living. They don't grow. They don't change on their own. They don't move on their own. They don't need food, water, and air. And they were never alive. Okay, let's look at this eraser. It's the same size it's always going to be. It's not going to change on its own. It doesn't need food, air, or water. And it's never been alive. It's not going to grow. And the only way it could change is if I hit it with a hammer or something and smash it. But we don't want to do that. So living things grow, change, move, need food, water, and air, and they can reproduce. But non-living things can't do any of those things. Now, it'll move if I move it. I can move it like that. But it's not moving on its own. All right, let's look at this picture and see if we can pick out some things that are living. Now, I know this is a cartoony type picture, but let's pretend that it's real, that we're really at the zoo. All right, are giraffes living or non-living? All right, they eat, they grow, they move, they need water and air and food. They can have little ones, they can have babies. So giraffes are living. All right, let's look. Here's a person. Is a person, does a person grow? Does a person move on its own? Does a person need food, water, and air? Can a person have children? Mm-hmm. So a person is a living thing. All right, let's see. What about, I'm looking for something. Okay, look at the teapot. Now, do you think this teapot can grow? No. Can it move all by itself? No. Does it need food, water, and air? No. Will it have some little teapots? No. So it is not living. It is a non-living thing. All right, let's look at this picture of a family in the backyard at their house. Let's look for some living things. All right, here are some children. Can they grow? Yes. Can they move on their own? Sure they can. Do they need food, water, and air? Yes. When they grow up, they can have children of their own. So these children are living or non-living. Which is it? Tell your study buddy. Living. All right. Let's look at the swing set. This big swing set. All right. Does the swing set grow? No. Does it move on its own? No. Does it need food, water, and air? Do you have to go back in the backyard and water and feed your swing set? No. Will you go out there in the yard one day and find a bunch of little swing sets because they've had baby swing sets? No. So a swing set is a non-living thing. Now I see something else in this picture. Let's talk about it. This tree right here. Look at this tree. Does it grow? Sure it does. Because once upon a time it was a little seed. All right, so it grows. Does it move? Yes, very slowly, but because it's growing, it is moving a little bit. Does it eat? Yes, it gets nutrients from the soil. It needs water. If no rain falls, that tree's going to die. It needs air. And you know what? Sometimes there will be some little trees coming up around it. It reproduces. It is a living thing. Okay. Now, let's do a quick review. Living things grow, change, move on their own. They need food, water, and air, and they make other living things. All right? Non-living things. They do not grow. They do not change on their own. They do not move on their own. They do not need food, water, and air. And they do not reproduce. They do not have little babies. All right, now here this says, is a clock living or non-living? Do you feed your clock before you go to bed? Do you water it? I hope not. Is your clock going to move? If you put it on the table, when you come back, is it still going to be on the table? Sure it will, unless you pick it up and move it. It's not going to get any bigger. So it is non-living. Non-living. So today, boys and girls, we have learned about what makes something a living thing and what makes something a non-living thing. And we're going to be working on that all throughout the week. So walk around with your study buddy and pick up or touch different things in the house and outside. And decide if it's living or non-living. Because if it's living, it can grow, change, move on its own. It needs food, water, and air, and it can make other living things. If it can't do that stuff, it's not living. All right, boys and girls, go try that out.